Okay. So,
See what's going on. YouTube.
Are we in?
Yep, you're going and you're at 8
Okay.
seconds.
So, this is going to be my discussion on dealing with the Sao Paulo pass. So there's a number of stages along the way. There's a few options that I'll point out that aren't really in my sort of workflow on this. I think you have to be a little bit longer for this, but I'll point them out. Okay. So the first thing that happens whenever I'm dealing with the closed guard, a lot of people try and break posture, and they kind of reach off, grab the back of the head here, whatever, and that immediately gives your opponent the underhook on that side. Okay, so the first thing I'm doing when I break posture, whenever I'm turning and I'm kind of coming up sideways, when I'm going to break posture, I'm keeping my elbow in front, kind of like a Muay Thai clinch. So when I'm grabbing anything over here, I'm trying to keep my elbow on this side, so that anytime he starts to come down, boom, I've got my elbow in the front right here. Okay, I can cup the head, I'm getting the shoulder here, my elbow's kind of sinking down over this. He needs to be up, have high head position, up high on my chin here, and have a nice strong underhook. And he can't really achieve that if I'm able to kind of push down here. He's just too low on me. And even if he starts into it at this point, he's just going to have terrible head position at that point. I'm going to have too much leverage to deal with him. Okay, so that kind of leads me into the second point, that anytime he sort of doesn't have good head position, he wants to have nice high tight head position in general underneath my chin here, working, and I don't really have much leverage to do anything at this point. You know, if his head's up high, I kind of push it away, so he's not really going to do that. And if he's too low on my body, I can start to just kind of frame, push it away, and then work into omoplatas and things like that. So that's really my second step. Now, if he sort of won this underhook and he has pretty good head position, he really needs to beat both of my chances at underhooks, really. So he's got to be able to walk across, and so now he's got to fight this leg with his arm here to do that. All right, yeah, and once he's got that, then he's starting to fight this leg, and there's things I can do at that point. So I want to deny him the chance to even be able to use this arm. So I really only need to win the underhook battle on one side. So if I lost it on this side, I'm immediately going to come underneath here and just gable grip at this point. Now I've only got the underneath his armpit, and I want to have better control of his arm, so I want to start to slide that out towards his elbow. All right, and I can switch hips at this point, and I'm over here. I'm working some straight arm stuff, and a lot of times it kind of comes over to here. You're thinking about arm triangle things or whatever, but gift wraps and things like that. But you have a lot of leverage to really to just kind of scoop under here, gable grip it, and then just kind of work your hips to help get that arm, pull that arm across as you're flaring your arm underneath his elbow over here. And this really kind of negates that for him as well. Some people, one of the things that longer people might try at this point when they're pushing the head away is to kind of come up here and work like the 100% thing. I don't really, if he has decent head position, I'm not really long enough to be able to do that. So it's not really in my repertoire, but I know some guys who are bigger than the other person, and they're pretty good about doing that. Now, say you don't win this underhook, he gets that as well. Some people will kind of get the body lock on this side. If you're longer, you might be able to get it, but people who are really good at the Sao Paulo pass, they lock out and they're hip switching here, and that can be tough to get the body lock way on this side, even if you have longer legs. All right, so I feel like before my thigh gets pinned to the mat like this, if I didn't win this underhook and he's starting to go, so let's just go back a little bit. If he's starting to go to that side, I'm gonna try and circle up and get my butt out. So now he's weighing on the bottom of my thigh. All right, so if we kind of circle this way, I want to turn my foot and kind of try and hip out a little bit. So now he's up against the bottom of the thigh rather than the side of my thigh pushing it down. When I'm here, maybe at this point I can kind of push his head away, work to get arm bars, things like that. At the very least, say I just slightly turn a little bit, and we're still battling right here. I kind of want to be bringing my knee up to me and keep my arm to the outside of my knee if I can circle my arm to the outside like this. I do this against the knee cut pass as well, and there's some defenses to do. Some things are similar here to my knee cut pass. Once I'm here, I can kind of pummel my upper arm and just circle under and get his lapel right here. So as he tries to pass into the half guard, well, I really have good hip position. He can't get up over that knee. I really have nice high tight lapel grip right here. And at this point, circling, I can free my feet pretty well, and I'm back on the attack. So just being able to wrap my arm around my outside of my knee, fish this under, and grab his lapel right here. And he's working pretty low at this point, so you have a pretty good chance of grabbing pretty high up. I prefer this lapel to this one. I just feel like I'm gonna have the most control over my thigh to pull it up and get it vertical again if my arm is out by his knee. All right, so keeping it out there makes it stronger for me to be able to pull it up as opposed to here. He's still gonna be able to drive it to the mat. So if I reach for this lapel, that kind of keeps my arm a little bit to the inside sometimes. And also, it's kind of like open hand. I don't really, sometimes I don't have a good chance to get like a nice cross lapel grip here, and it's pulling away this way. But if I grab onto this one, I feel like it stays a little better and it keeps my forearm out towards my knee a little bit better. So from here, I'm working some pretty good offense, and as he kind of struggles to deal with that, I'm squaring up. I have pretty up high and tight. So that's pretty much the flow of my defense as things get worse and worse, the kind of progression of it. All right, that's that one.